from Gig Game Corp, my name is Jason and the date is July 1st, 2025. I'm making this quick video as sort of a pre-launch of the Trivia Game Builder, which is a new product we're going to be releasing on July 15th to enable our users to create dynamic AI-driven game shows, trivia game shows, which are hosted by AI hosts, personalities of their choice, and that they can custom the questions, the categories, the points, the rounds, everything. It's a complete setup, which will be great for classroom environments, trade shows. If you're a restaurant or bar and you want to actually create your own trivia game customized for whatever event, you can totally do it. So this is an extension of our existing Would I Lie and Gig Game Trivia Night products. So this just allows you to take those and customize it to however you want. So anyway, we're on the main website right now. I'm going to go into the Game Hub and ignore all the stuff you see. We have a bunch of other games we're currently working on. They're in the pipeline. They're just not yet released. But I want to show you it's the same interface you would see logging into the hub. On the left-hand side, you have a menu, and up the top here, you also have another drop-down menu. So there's two new features in here. One's Build a Game Show, and that goes to the same places as Questions Catalog and Game Templates. So we can go either way to get to it. I'll click on this, and this takes me to a screen to where I can build a master catalog of my own trivia questions. Now you might say, Jason, this is going to take a long time for me to build. I don't really know any trivia questions off the top of my head. I don't have time to research it. That's not a problem because we actually use AI to build the trivia questions really quick. And in this case, what we're doing is we're building a game show around the fabulous things in Florida. So you'll see that I made here, if I go to the categories button, I made a series of categories: Key West, Miami, Miami Beach, Orlando, and Tampa. Getting rid of a category is as easy as hitting the delete button. Creating a category is as easy as typing it in here. Add. Yep. And closing it. And from there, you want to build a question around in your Miami Beach category. Now, here's how you can do it without really knowing too much. Just hit add a question. Now, if you know the question, you can type everything in here. You have the question itself. You can pick up the 6 answers. You select which is the correct answer, and then an explanation, because this is what the AI uses to build out a dialogue talking about, oh, well, this is the correct answer because such and such. So you pick the category. This is going to go in Miami Beach. Now, I can't think of a good question off the top of my head, so why don't we do this? We built these AI assist features in here to help you be able to build this out real quick. So I'm going to say famous movie made in Miami Beach. And it's going to go out and look for famous movies made in Miami Beach, and I'm sure there are plenty of them, and it's going to make a question for me. Okay? So right now it's putting out a request to OpenAI, and basically, telling it all the information it needs, and it's also taking that question and it passes it through a second model, which that model then validates the question to make sure that it's correct. It actually goes through two hoops like that, because you're probably aware AI hallucinates and makes things up sometimes. So we use multiple models checking each other to ensure the question's correct. And does that mean that there's not the possibility of hallucination? Sure there is, but it's infinitesimally small compared to just going through one model. In any case, here generating the question, in which Miami Beach hotel was the infamous chainsaw scene in Scarface? And it gives us a couple questions. It selects B, meaning that's the correct answer, and it gives us a little bit of explanation down here. Now, if I don't like the question, I can click that again, and what it will do is it'll actually go out and find me another question within that Miami Beach famous movies category. All right, now the other part is I need to upload an image. I don't have an image necessarily for this, but if I did, I could hit choose file, pick it, and upload it. Or again, we have this AI assist. And the AI assist, when I click that, it's taking the question topic, the question itself, and it's asking DALL-E 3 to make a image based upon that topic without revealing what the answer is. And boom, it did. And there's your question. I can click it again and I don't like that image, I can make another image and I can keep doing it until I'm happy with it. But in this case, I'm happy, so I'm gonna hit save. And there we are, there's your question. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you that is the ability of this question builder here is, notice up here we have multiple languages. So I could pick any language I want here. And for example, let's just pick Spanish. Orlando. AI assist. Best Latin club in Orlando, actually. And it's right now, okay. Notice what it comes back with. It's all in Spanish. And it does it on purpose. And now we can save this. I can do the image too, but we can save it. And now it actually saves, where is it? It's this right here. You see the little icon here, missing image, required field. All for any question to be used in a game, you have to have an image associated with it. Because I didn't generate an image, it gave me that little warning sign. But you'll see the rest of this is in Spanish. So you can make any question in any language you want. You can build entire game shows in now alternate languages as well. So we're going to take these 5 here, and I'm going to build a game show. So select what you want, and you can, filter by categories or text here to drill down to what you want. And by the way, before I get off the screen, right now this is a catalog which is only to me. All these questions that I built are only in my catalog. No one else can see them. We are going to make available the full catalog of Would I Lie and give you a Kid Game Trivia game night later for you to be able to import into your catalog as well. But for right now, you have the ability with AI to generate anything you want. It's pretty simple to use. Anyway, selecting these 5, I'm going to go hit Bundle Game Template, and I'm going to come up with a name. I'm going to call this Florida or Crazy. All right, I'll just name it that. It could be anything. Create. And that brings me into the game show template. So at this point, I can upload an image. This image is what's going to show when the host is introducing the game. So everyone's going to get to see it. So this could be a logo here. This could be a product picture. This could be whatever you imagine, whatever you want it to be. Because I do not have a logo or an image right now, I'm going to once again click the AI Assist. It's going to come up asking me what I want. I'm going to say Fabulous Florida, hit OK, and it's going to generate me an image for my game show here. Just give it a moment. And hopefully this will be fabulous. And there we are. That does look fabulous. That's everything Florida right there. Okay, so we're going to come down here. English, again, you can pick other languages. This is the title. I can change it still here if I want to. Visual theme, corporate blue. We're going to be adding on to these additional templates later. Background music, lounge lover. Again, we'll be adding more. Just got to get them all, the songs all licensed. All right, fabulous or crazy, Florida has it all. For the rounds, these are the rounds of the game. It defaults to 3 rounds: easy, tougher, and the expert round. You can rename these to whatever you want. You can actually say the first round is easy questions, the second round is average, the third round is hard. If you have hundreds of questions for it to be able to pick those options from, if you don't select it to anything, it'll just pick everything and just cycle through and not repeat. Set points for each one of the rounds. Point decay just says that the longer the user takes to answer the question, the less points they get. It's really good deterrent for especially if somebody's cheating on a mobile phone because they're taking the time to look it up, where they lose the points. So we also have categories. As is, you see the imported the categories from the questions we had previously into our game. We don't have to take these. We can actually merge them, change their names, rename them to whatever we want. These are the description of the categories, which is mostly used for the AI to help generate things, but it's not necessary to have anything in there. Background, if you remember, if you ever played one of the trivia games, you know that during the questions you have different backgrounds that pop up. We have a list here, or if you actually want to see the image themselves, you can pick it off here. We'll be adding more again later, but that's what we're starting with. You see it set at the cluster of vintage clocks. Questions, this is the list of your questions. Now there's two ways you can do questions. One, you can have it random, which is where that round scenario comes in. The other way you can do it is where you can say that they're one question at a time, and this gives you explicit control over the order of the questions here, which is going to be vital later, that if you have one question where the dialogue of that question depends upon the dialogue of a previous question, this gives you a little bit of control to plan how to do that. All right, so we can move these however we want. Oh, by the way, we talked about merging categories. You can either do it here with that box there, or here with that box here. In this case, we have Miami Beach, we have Miami. Let's say I have a scenario where it's like, I want to just have Miami Beach be Miami. I can do this and save it. And now they're both Miami. Over here, notice Miami Beach is going, now they're Miami. It changes these to undefined. It's a little bug I gotta fix, but it affects nothing, to be honest with you. And that's it. So now I want to move on. Save, go to next. And this is where the real fun happens. So this is where you're going to start building your dialogue and your voices of your hosts talking to each other. And by default, this picks the character of Ricky Ray here down below. So you're looking at these global default settings. It's right now host 1 and host 2 is nobody. You can actually hit this play button. You can hear Ricky.
I'm Ricky Ray, part velvet voice, part beachside charm. I've seen it all, told it twice, and I'll keep you laughing while you wonder if I'm serious.
So that's Ricky. We can have a secondary host. For this particular one, I don't really want to have Ricky because it's going to be Florida. I want to have somebody a little bit more southern. Because of that, I have another voice here. His name is Buck, and he's a lot better. Let's listen to him.
Name's Buck. I got stories, charm, and enough southernese to slow time. Sit with me a while. I'll talk, you'll listen, and we'll both leave a little wiser. Name's Buck. I got...
Okay, so we have host 1. I want to have host 2 paired with host 2. I want to have host 1 paired with somebody else. So host 2, you have a huge list to pick from. And by the way, some of these are crazy. I mean, like the Whisperer, that's a good Halloween selection.
I am the Whisperer.
So you have that. Dr. Felix, which is kind of like an infomercial, but a really weird one, like from the Adventurers Club.
I am Dr. Felix. I speak with precision. Emotion is inefficient, and verbosity is a tax on my patience.
When I was generating these voices, it was getting late at night. I'm sorry. But we have, for example, Isabella. She's a Hispanic woman.
I'm Isabella. Fire in my heart, rhythm in my words. You'll feel every syllable like it was sung just for you.
We have, of course, it's the same thing. Let's see. A little further. Diego, Hispanic male.
Mi amor, you made it finally. I'm Diego, the voice your playlist dreams about at night.
Voice our playlist dreams about at night, evidently. But we have a bunch of these. We have Lexi. She's a Gen Z girl.
I'm Lexi. Ireland Chaos URL Energy. If you don't get it, that's a you problem.
She talks in brain rot. We have Deepa. She's an Indian woman.
I am Deepa. I already solved the problem you didn't know you had.
Deepa. We have an Indian male here. We have a couple other different characters. All are interesting. All of them have a unique quality to them. Even AI Assistant, he's always fun to play with.
I am the AI Assistant. Efficient. Superior. Slightly disappointed in humanity.
Right. So anyway, who we're going to go with is I always go for my standard Sally.
I'm Sally Sharp, and yes, I've already judged your outfit. Smart, stylish, and not putting up with nonsense.
So anyway, there we have Buck and Sally picked. Now, we have these other two fields to the right, host 1 alternate name and host 2 alternate name. Those allow us to actually rename our characters. So think of Buck and Sally as actors, and we're now going to have them play the part. They're going to play the part of Chuck, I can spell Chuck, and Tammy. And We then go down to, before I get to narrative instructions, let me just talk about secondary characters. You can have as many secondary characters as you want into this and give them names. And those secondary characters can interject, they can do whatever you want them to do, you can define it. The narrative instructions is where you're kind of defining the relationships between everybody. This is something at this point that's global across the game. So because I named them Chuck and Tammy, I'm going to say Chuck and Tammy are Florida enthusiasts. They are also deeply Christian. And like to teach the good book and work it into their gameplay. So if I want to be more specific, I could say Bible. But in any case, this is really nothing more than defining their personalities. I could also say that Chuck has an affection for dolls, or that one fun thing I did was Chuck and Tammy, they were dating and they just broke up before this show, and that created some interesting tension. But you can have fun with this and do whatever you want with it. And the audio filters and the background audio down here, I'll show you a little later what they do, but the audio filters gives you a way to add additional filters on top of the audio created. I don't tend to do it global because that would affect every single dialogue and the entire game, but I'm going to show you how to get a little bit more nitty-gritty with it. Now, at this point, if we were doing just a basic game, we didn't care about anything else. I could stop right here, I could go up to build and publish, and then boom, this pops up. And what this allows, the way it's set right now is it's going to generate all dialogue, it's going to generate all voice audio, and then it's going to publish the game for gameplay. Boom, done, I don't have to do anything else. Now you'll notice down here it says it's going to build one start entry, one host introduction, one round. So because we have 3 rounds, it's going to do an introduction for each one of the 3 rounds. So this will be round 1, round 2, round 3. Category selections are hi, it's your turn to pick a category, or hey, you're about out of time to run out of time to pick a category. Please pick it, or we're going to do it for you. Or third, it might say, sorry, you ran out of time. We got to pick a category for you. The questions are the dialogue for the question. The score screen is the dialogue for the generic dialogue for the score screen. And the ending dialogue is the end of the game where it says, hey, thanks for joining our game, and we're going to go do whatever now until you start again. So generally it does 1 dialogue per, but one of the things you can do here is I can increase the counts here. Notice it increases as tokens, I'll explain that in a second. But you can have multiple of these dialogues. So let's say, for example, I have 10 different start dialogues. It means every time I start the game, it's picking a different start dialogue. So it gives the players who are playing this game over and over again a sense of originality each time because it's constantly switching it up. Same thing with host introduction, round selection, everything. You can have multiples, whatever. You don't need to have multiples, whatever, for it to work, but if you're planning on having this thing, running against a lot of people who are playing it repeatedly, it is nice to have. But as I said, right now, I could hit the start button and it would do everything for me and I can play this game. In fact, just to be upfront, you don't even need AI dialogue or voice for this to play the game. You can just hit start now, publish it, and what would happen is, when you play the game, you just wouldn't have any audio. It would work still perfectly fine. So let's talk about the tokens. One of the challenges that we have at Good Games, and of course you probably realize we're an early startup, is that we have AI costs. Whenever we're making a call to OpenAI or a call to 11 Labs or any other AI resource we're integrating into the application, that comes with a cost to us. So we're trying to find a way to actually cover it, but not really like have any serious markups, but just pass it on, is through this concept of tokens. Every token is valued at 1 penny. That's the way we set it up. So 640 tokens is $6.40. So essentially I can build this game show with 5 questions for $6.40. I have placed it out. If we had a game show with 30 questions, it would roughly cost you between $27 and $30 total. And once you build the game, you can use it over and over as many times as you want. It's just a one-time cost to create the game and to generate the audio assets. Okay, so I'm going to cancel this. I'm not doing this yet. I'm going to show you why. So that's the basic way to set it up if we just wanted to race through it. Now let's talk about the advanced way to set this up. Over here, we have a tab called Advanced Mode. Let's click it. Notice when I clicked that, it switched over and you now have Start, Intro, Rounds, Category, Question, Scoring, Ending. That's all the other stuff you saw when the Build Published modal that was just popped up. What this does is this gives you detailed control over what the characters say. You can actually generate the dialogue yourself, write the dialogue yourself, generate the audio yourself. If you don't like it, switch it up, change direction without having to generate the entire game. So, for example, you come over here to Start. Notice we have Game Start dialogue. We have nothing there. We can add a script if we want. We can then add dialogue lines. I can come in here and I can have, let's just pick one. It can be anybody you want. Hey, welcome to our game. And I'm not going to have any filters on it. I'm going to come over here to Dialogue 2. And I'm going to actually just have AI Assistant. Stop playing around. We pay for this. All right. So I've generated the dialogue script and I want to actually render it to hear what it sounds like. And it's telling me it'll cost 3 cents to do this. So at this point, what it's actually doing is it submitted this, generating this dialogue to a workflow that's running in the back end of our website. You see it's running right now. This is the exact same workflow system that we use to build out Would I Lie or Game Trivia. So you're getting the full sets of options we have internally that we make our games with. You could literally make Would I Lie with this builder. Okay, so it comes back and you see here, there's the dialogue, but now notice we have a little play icon.
Hey, welcome to our game.
Stop playing around, we pay for this.
All right, pretty simple. Now, I mean, that's nothing fancy. I mean, we had to type that out ourselves. And obviously typing out all this script for all this stuff would be a horrendous amount of work unless you really want to put the time to it. But I'll show you the easier way of doing it. So I'm going to delete the script. Is going up here, Generate AI Dialogue, and you can tell it to generate however many you want of this particular type, this intro type. Now, before I do this, I want to show you something that's really cool about this. There's this AI hosted audio settings. This is where it allows you to have some fun. So the start of this particular game, you traditionally, what I use start for is it's not an introduction to the game to the players, but it usually is like a back stage scene that's like a funny setup for the game to kind of get the players in the mood about what they're about to hear. So, and I like to have some variety to it. So there's this thing called situationals. And they're just like that other one you saw, the other where you're setting up global, but this allows you to override it for this specific start scene. So I can have Buck and Sally here, and I can say, Buck and Sally are backstage complaining about being forced to do this show. Sally wants to do real game shows, not Florida propaganda. For their travel industry. Okay, I'll correct myself here. Okay. I'll say Buck loves this job. All right, so we can do that. And the other thing I'd like to do here, and again, notice I can add some additional voices here. Let's add one in here. With Miguel saying, starting In 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so that's how we're doing it right there. And just because the startup, I like to actually have a little filter on it. I want to put the telephone filter because it gives it the sense that it's not live. You're almost like hearing something that's pre-recorded. And then I'm going to save it. Now, let's go back into this because I want to show something. We can have multiple situations. I can add another situation on here. And the reason that's there is I can add multiple situations with different characters. And then when I say generate 50 scenes, it's going to randomly go through these and generate different situations for me, just kind of create the variety within the game show itself. And notice I can say I want more of one than another. That's what the selection waits for. So if I put one at 33, the other 66, I'll get twice as many of one as another. This weights allows you to control which is the most important situational hint you would like to use and how many do you want it to reuse. The other thing I want to show here too, let's save. And I want to go into questions. Now, questions, we showed this. This is the script for the questions. Your pre-question dialogue, your question dialogue, your answer dialogue. They also have situational hints. All these have situational hints, but questions in particular have a special setting down here for category. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to go Miami, and I'm going to add another character. Let's see. Good one here. Tiffany, she's good.
I'm Tiffany, polished, poised, and perfectly over your nonsense. I've moved on to better things, but I still keep receipts.
Okay, so what I just typed in is Buck and Sally are hosting the show. Tiffany is their resident Miami expert. She has lived here forever, knows everything, and thinks Miami is the only city that matters. Okay, so we're going to put that in here. Again, I could write in English any interaction I want, and it will figure it out. For this, I'm associating with Miami selection, and then I'm going to save this. So going back here, you see it's the only one in here. And this is specific for Miami only. This is specific for the Miami category only. The other categories of questions will fall back to the generic question, the generic global default here. So let's get back into this and show you how this stuff plays out. So we made one with the start, and we actually did a generic dialogue before, but why don't I show you how you can manually create one here. So generate a dialogue. I'm just going to generate one for now and hit create. Now this submits to our back-end workflow process that we had before. We're just waiting for it to pick up, run, and create this for us. There it is, it's now running. And dialogues themselves shouldn't take too long. It's more the voices take a little time. There we go. All right, so at this point, Chuck, can you believe that they got us hosting? Remember we said they're complaining? So what we're going to do is we're going to actually make some voices out of this. Again, it's going to cost 31 tokens, it's 31 cents. Right, we will let it go. Running. There it is. Okay. So if we come down here, you'll notice now there's a little play button on here, so let's hear what it sounds like.
Chuck, can you believe they've got us hosting Florida or Crazy tonight? I mean, I signed up for game shows, not state propaganda.
Oh, come on, Tammy. It ain't all that bad. Florida's got charm. Where else can you find a man wrestling an alligator one minute and sipping a mojito beachside the next?
Yes, and where else can you find people who consider hurricane parties a legitimate form of entertainment? It's madness wrapped in a sunny brochure.
That's the spirit. It's the unpredictability that makes it exciting. Plus, the stories we get to share, priceless.
Priceless is one word for it, perilous might be another. But all right, let's get this show on the road. Who's our first contestant?
Before we dive in, did Miguel mention anything about the prize for tonight? I heard it's a doozy.
Yes, everything's set. The prize is amazing. And please, let's try to keep things moving smoothly tonight. We're live in 3, 2, 1, go!
Okay. And if you remember, that's the exact situation we set up before, where we said that Sally's not happy about our job, Buck is very pro, the whole Florida thing, and it's going to end with Miguel doing that. So you can make these situations very complex, and kind of do it, handle it. So, and you can go through building out each one of these one at a time. If I didn't like this dialogue, I could always hit edit script, change it, and then recreate a new audio. Now remember, every time you do that, it does cost money to regenerate the audio again, but it's pennies literally to do. So you can do this until you like the results, if you really want to do it one at a time. So you have the ability of micromanaging it, or even going to a global setting and doing it. So let's actually show you how the build and publish works. So we're going to go build and publish. Now, notice for start, we have 0 tokens needed. The reason is because the system's already detected, hey, you manually created one already. So you don't have to do it again. You don't have to pay for it because it's already there. If I wanted to have 2 automatically, it'll charge me for 1 because it knows it needs to build at least 1. So it goes out there and it figures out what have I already done versus what do I need to do. And one of the things you can use this for is you don't have to publish the game. Again, you can take these off and say, hey, build out the dialogue for everything, and I'm going to go through, make my own tweaks, and then go through and do the audio later. Or I can say, do all the audio now, and I'm going to go review it and delete whatever I don't like and edit it. You can do whatever you want, or go all the way through and publish it. Now, I did want to show one more thing here, so you can see that you can have errors in this. It's obviously easy to do. I'm just going to add a script like this. Boom. Notice, added the script, but I have no lines in it. Now I go on the build publish. Notice I have an error. The reason why errors occur is because it's detected that you have a script block that has absolutely no dialogue in it whatsoever. It's pointless. So it can't make voices for something where there are no lines to make voices for it. So to fix this, it's easy. Delete. Either add lines to it or just delete it. Go through and hit build, and suddenly, boom, it's gone. So it will also detect if you have dialogue set up where you have multiple characters talking to each other, but one of the lines in there is blank. That will also cause a problem. And then you just delete the line that's offending, or fill it in with something. In any case, what we're going to do, we're now going to go and tell this thing to generate. So it's saying it's going to cost at this point $6, 600 tokens. And I'm going to hit start. And this is going to now submit the whole thing to our workflow process. At this point, we can step out, we can go get lunch. It might take about 5 minutes, because it's going to go through every single question, every single dialogue, and do them one at a time. And you can even monitor it on the bar up here, how far it's gotten. You see it's building out in the background. It does this 2 times. The first time it's going to go through, it's building out simply the dialogue for each section, what each one of the characters are saying, based upon the situationals that have been set up, either at the global level or in that individual section. Then the second sweep through it's going to do after all dialogue's built is it's going to then actually generate the real voice. And boom, we're done. So that was a little bit fast forwarded. Obviously that takes about 5 minutes in reality. For this video, was not going to have you sit here and watch a bar for 5 minutes. But at this point, all dialogue and audio has been created for everything. Let's just go through this looking. So we have our start. This is the dialogue that we created earlier. We have our intro round. Buck. We can actually play it. We don't even have to
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the sunniest, craziest game show on the airwaves, Florida or Crazy, broadcasting live right from the heart of the Sunshine State itself. I'm your host, Chuck, here with my fabulous co-host, Tammy.
Thank you, Chuck. And a warm welcome to all our viewers and players tuning in from near and far. Whether you're here for the fabulous or the outright crazy, you're in for a treat.
Now, if you're itching to join the fun and think you can spot whether a story is quintessentially Florida or just plain crazy, grab your mobile device and scan the QR code in the lower left of your screen.
And as we embark on this wild ride, let's remember the good book teaches us to be quick to listen, slow to speak. But here on Florida or Crazy, you'll need to be quick on both to win.
That's right, Tammy. So without further ado, let's get the wheels rolling and start the show.
Notice the subtle include about the good book. That's because of our little reference that they're devout Christian, and they like to work that in. So, you can do that sort of thing. You can kind of influence their personalities however you want. So Each one of the rounds have their own beginning. Show you an example.
Alrighty, folks, we're diving into round 1 here at Florida or Crazy, which we like to call the easy round. Each question's worth a good old 10 points, but remember, the clock's ticking. The longer you take, the fewer points you pocket.
And don't just sit there. Grab your phones and scan the QR code down on the lower left of your screen. Join in, test your wits, and maybe learn a thing or two. It's not just about points, it's about pride.
Just like the good book says, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Let's see where your hearts lie in your knowledge of the Sunshine State. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road.
All right. So again, another reference how they work things in. And here's the category. Questions. Each one of our questions is different. Now, if I remember from one of these questions, we did something special. So let's look for a Miami one. How about this? Miami Hotel. And this one, I believe we had, yep, there it is, Tiffany. Remember our Miami expert we put in a conditional? Let's see what she says.
Now here's a question that might give you goosebumps if you're a film buff. In which Miami Beach hotel was that hair-raising chainsaw scene in Scarface filmed?
Oh, that scene. It's hard to forget, Chuck. Let's see if our players know their stuff or if they'll just be winging it.
Trust me, if you know Miami like I do, this one's a piece of cake. But I'll keep quiet and let the players have their moment of glory.
All right, y'all, listen up. Here are your options. A, the Miami Beach edition. B, Fontainebleau Hotel. C, the Setai Miami Beach. D, Delano South Beach Hotel. E, Eden Rock Hotel. F, the Palms Hotel and Spa.
So what do you think? Any of those sound like the backdrop for a classic movie showdown?
And then down here for the answer.
Well, let me put y'all out of your suspense. The correct answer is B, Fontainebleau Hotel.
That's right, Chuck. The Fontainebleau Hotel isn't just famous for its luxury and history. It also served as the chilling setting for the notorious chainsaw scene in Scarface.
Absolutely. And it's one of those iconic locations that just screams Miami glamour, even in the midst of such a grim scene. It's a must-know for any true movie fan or Miami aficionado.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So did y'all nail it, or was it a tough one? Let us know.
All right. So anyway, I won't go through all these, but basically for everything it does, you can go through any one of these questions and kind of play it, make judgments. If you don't like the audio, you can always hit edit scene like this. It will pop out. Well, right now it's published. What you have to first do is, in this case, is unpublish it, and then you can edit it. When you edit the scene, it will basically delete the dialogue, the voice out of it. You'll have to recreate it, so you want to keep in mind you'd have to, pay to recreate it again with tokens. But they're not that much. So if you want to make a slight change, you can make a slight change and then redo the audio. Scores, same thing. Now, if you remember, the game does have dynamic voice to it, meaning that the during the round scene, during the introduction, and during the scores, the AIs, in this case it'd be Buck and Sally, do talk to the players, and that's dynamically created. But the thing to keep in mind is when a player's not playing, or if sometimes there are errors that do occur in the real world when you're trying to talk to an AI server, it's always nice to have a pre-generated dialogue built in the back to fall back on. And that's what this stuff is. So this is like supporting when the dynamic voice is not being used. And ending, this is just the ending of the game where they're basically saying goodbye.
Well, y'all, it's been another wild ride on Florida or Crazy. We sure hope you had as much fun as a frog in a rainstorm playing along with us today.
Absolutely, Chuck, and a big thank you to all our players today. Without you, it'd just be Chuck and me here talking to ourselves, which, let's be honest, wouldn't be nearly as entertaining.
That's right, Tammy. And remember, whether you're from Florida or just plain crazy about it, we're all part of God's big family. Just like Matthew 12:50 says, "For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother."
Well said, Chuck. And speaking of family, we hope you'll join ours again next week. Until then, keep spreading kindness and laughter wherever you go, Florida style.
Amen to that, Tammy. Y'all take care now, and thank you again for tuning in to Florida or Crazy. Bye now.
So, and the thing to keep in mind, is when this dialogue is playing inside the game, there's going to be music playing, there's going to be other things going on. So this is just getting interlaid into that. And that's what kind of gives you the entire game show feel. Now, we do have additional features that are going to be coming up later. For example, back to the questions, I mentioned that we're going to be building in a master set of questions that are from Would I Lie and Gig Games Trivia Game Night that you'll be able to import and use yourself. But I mean, the AI stuff does just as well, and actually it's faster, to be truthful, than searching in another question set. But the other thing we're going to be able to be building in too is the concept that you can upload, let's say, a file on a product or a service your company may offer, and that the AI will actually generate a question set based upon the information in your document or documents. So, and then you can go through and edit and pick whatever you want and include that in the game or change it around. But it's going to be the concept you can kind of build out the questions. And that's pretty much it. So by July 15th, the next big step we're going to be doing is we're working on the actual game engine. We're adapting the previous Would I Lie and Gig Game Trivia Night game engine to work with this new trivia set data file. That should be going live about July 15th. At that point, when you hit play on this, it's going to go into that new engine. You'll be able to play it just like you play the game today, where you're going to be, players will scan in with a QR code and they'll interact with the hosts that you set up. Okay, so I hope this is a clear demonstration of where we're going with this. Right now, this is in a soft release. You can kind of go in there and play with this tool, and keep in mind that anything you save in this right now will be playable on July 15th. Okay. All right. Take care. Thank you for watching the video.